Well, good morning. It is about 8 o'clock in the morning and I'm trying to get my face on, and I realized that I haven't done a homeschool update video for y'all yet, and so I thought that today I would get that done as I'm getting ready, because the last time that I did an update video I was getting my makeup on, because it's like the only time that I have where my thoughts are kind of like ruminating about what's been happening, and I have a tiny pocket of time where I'm not being interrupted by the girls. Lauren is asleep right now, praise God, and Caitlyn and Molly are downstairs in the basement playing until 9 o'clock. We usually start our day around 9 o'clock for lessons. We are in the midst of week 8. It's currently Friday, so we're at the end of week 8. And first things first, we have been using the Claritas Publishing memory work for cycle 3. I went through and I checked my footage for my walkthrough on that, and I had shot it in 60 frames per second, so there's no audio. And that's really obnoxious to me, so I am going to try to go through it again, just because I think it's such a great, valuable resource. But it's going to have coffee stains on it because there may or may not have been an incident with a cup of coffee. We did weeks 1 through 7, and then we took week 8 as a review week because there are 28 weeks on the Claritas cycles. And so that puts us at 32 weeks, and at the very end of the year we'll go through, because we do a 36 week cycle, or 36 week school year. Oh my word, all the words are struggling to get out of my face. So we do 36 weeks as a school year, and we will use those last 4 weeks as pure review. So week 33 will be a review of 1 through 7, 34 will be a review of 8 through 14, etc., etc. And the memory work this year has been going much better than last year's memory work for us, just because we've been so much more consistent with it. And I've been putting a lot more emphasis on the memory work. And I think that in this grammar stage, that's really, really imperative. And I do see fruit from that. So we're, I guess what correlates well with our memory work is our history. We're still doing Story of the World, Volume 3. So, late Renaissance, early modern time. And that's going really well. We are in chapter 13. And that book has 42 chapters, so it's a little bit harder to sort of break up. But we like to do one section per day that we do history, and we like to do history 3 to 4 days per week. So that works out pretty nicely, actually. And the girls are really loving the history sentences in the Claritas memory work book correlate beautifully. I know I've said that before, but it's fantastic. History's going really well, right on target. Girls love history because it's just interesting to them. Second piece is science, and we are still in the first book of the God's Design for Chemistry, so it is God's Design for Molecules, and the girls love it. We've been doing 3 lessons, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we have a lesson from the book, and then we have Friday is our lab day, because, you know, Fridays are fun days. And so we've gotten to have a lab every single week. There could be labs for every single one of these lessons that we use. But the girls love the labs. I just don't have the patience to do a lab every single lesson. And so the fact that they're getting to do a lesson, one lab per week, I feel like it's pretty good. And so I'm content with that. And then Molly's been using the Kumon pre-K science workbook for her stuff because Caitlyn, she writes out definitions for every single lesson because we're trying to build like a chemistry vocabulary for her. And so she does the definitions, but there's not much Molly can do as far as that's concerned. I mean, like she's 4.5, almost 5. So trying to get her to copy down something is unreasonable in my opinion. So she does the Kumon work pages out of that book, and there are only 47 lessons, 48 lessons, something like that. So once that book is totally used up, we will have to find another like science activity thing, but she also fills out like little labs as we do them, or, you know, talks about it or draws a picture of the lab itself. So that's that. They're both, Caitlyn and Molly. Caitlyn is doing Latin this year, and we like the Song School Latin still. We haven't been practicing the Latin as much as I would like to because Latin's like really hard to speak. It's like, it's a reading language. It's not a speaking language. So it's really difficult to get through that. But doing the Song School Latin has been really good. I think next year I'm going to go with something more like from the Memoria Press line with like the, I don't know if I'll do Prima Latina since she will be, you know, I just don't know. I just don't know. It's so tricky. So then Molly is doing Song School Spanish, and she's doing really well with that. The workbook, I think, is a little advanced for her. Like, there's a lot of workbook pages where it's just like tracing the words, but then there are other areas where she has to actually write the words. And what we've done to modify is I've taken some old planner stickers that are plain, like from my Erin Condon teacher planner, and I will write the word on there. I read the sentence for her, and she tells me what word goes in it, and then I hand her that sticker. So that's working out. Caitlyn, for her language arts, everything is on target. We love the Well-Trained Mind products. They just seem to work so well for us. They're so incremental. One thing that we have been doing is the, I know I'm going back over the same stuff I've already done. That's silly. One thing that the Well-Trained Mind does really well is just incremental step-ups, but we've discovered that doing the main idea this year, like the summary or main points of a passage, it's been tricky. And so what we've gone through and started doing is I will sit down with Caitlyn and the passage, and she's supposed to read through the passage herself and then answer the questions that I give her. But we've modified it a little bit to where she goes through and she will read one paragraph at a time, and I will ask her, what is the main idea of this paragraph? And then what supports those ideas? And then we highlight, well, she highlights the main idea of that paragraph. And then once we've read through the entire selection, we will go through and read what she has read as highlighted main ideas. And that seems to be helping her so much. Before it was read this really long passage. I mean, it's not super long. It's like a page and a half. But read this passage and then try to remember back to the beginning. And so by giving her the ability to mark up each one of these selections, I think that is really, really helping her. That's going really well. She loves first language lessons level 3 because we're doing sentence diagramming, and she loves that. She thinks it's so cool, and I'm all for that. She is doing well with her spelling, which is spelling workout level C. And I feel like those are just kind of like gravy for us. Zaner Blosser cursive writing, she already writes in cursive, so it's really just refresh/practice for her. And then she's doing Saxon math level 3. Level 3 has been really good for her. Things are clicking along quite nicely for her on that. We're on lesson 32 today, I think. We do 4 lessons per week of that. I like to do math and language arts every day for lessons just because I think those are foundational. And then Molly. Okay, so Molly's doing Saxon level K for math. That's really fun for her. We don't have the manipulatives kit from Saxon, but we've been using a lot of just various like household things, you know, like baby food pouch lids and like little colorful rocks and just things that we've had around the house, you know, erasers, things like that. You don't really have to buy the manipulatives kit for that. So that's been good. She's enjoyed that a lot. And for language arts, we've been doing the Logic of English Foundations A level with her, and it's exhausting. I love the Uncovering the Logic of English book by Denise Ides. It's so logical. It is so perfect. I love it. Mentally, for me, it just like, it clicks. I'm like, yes, I love this. Executing the Foundations Level A curriculum is just tedious for us. So I talked with our curriculum coordinator, and I told her we either got to back off on it or we've got to change up completely, because Molly is getting discouraged because she's not seeing any progress forward. And I think that just, she digs her heels in about the Logic of English Foundations curriculum right now. And it's a lot of work. A lot of kinesthetic learning going on, a lot of, just a lot of parts. And I can see it working really well in a large setting, like a classroom setting. But for Molly at this point, it's not good for her. So we have set that aside, and we might come back to that maybe after Christmas time. But we've picked up our 100 Easy Lessons, Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons, which is what we did with Caitlyn. And I had second-guessed myself on using 100 Easy Lessons with Molly because Caitlyn was way too much of a helper through the lessons, and Molly was just allowing Caitlyn to help more than Caitlyn should have. So I opted to not do that because I got all up in my head, even though I know 100 Easy Lessons works for us. It has in the past, and it will in this, and it's working for Molly now. So last week we switched it up. We started doing 100 Easy Lessons with her, and it's a lot more quick for her, and she appreciates that. And it's just a little bit more straightforward. She's a very physical kid when it comes to like dancing and expressing herself and those kind of things. But when it comes to learning, I don't know that she's truly a kinesthetic learner, or I just don't know. I think it's a lot better for her doing this 100 Easy Lessons for now. So that's where we're at with her on there. What other lessons? Literature. Caitlyn, she's reading Hunchback of Notre Dame right now. That'll be her second novel. She's, I don't know, like how many weeks in? She's only got one more week worth of reading that. We're still working our way through The Little Pilgrim's Progress, which is just great. The girls love that, but we're really just like walking slowly through that. Each chapter is super short, but there's a lot of really rich theology in it and rich symbolism in it. I fully anticipate that taking us till the end of the semester to finish reading, just because I don't want to rush those concepts or the ideas or any of that stuff. We have ebbed and flowed with Squilt. We've been doing, oh, phone's going off here. We haven't been doing it super like rush, hardcore, get it done kind of thing. It's more of one of those sprinkles on top of the sundae kind of thing. And we've enjoyed it. I think it's a little bit tedious for Molly because there's so many sheets to it, and notebooking for a 4.5, almost 5-year-old is a little tedious. And T-Tap for our PE. We've been doing T-Tap, or yeah, Tap Core. That's what it's called. Sorry, I had to shuffle it through my mind. The girls are loving that. They love the fact that they can just do a few moves and it's challenging for them. I don't think there are any other specific curricula updates that I have for you. Trying to get school lessons done with a baby, an older baby, pre-toddler is just, it's taken a toll on me, honestly. Especially now that she's like teething intensely. And I just talked about this on my Wellness Wednesday. Trying to manage her and get through certain things because she's not napping the way that she used to. And she doesn't want to be worn. She wants to be down. She wants to be digging through everything. And the shrieking is just very, very intense with her right now. And I mean, she's a happy baby when she wants to be, but whenever she's not getting her way or not being given freedoms that she is demanding, it makes it borderline impossible for us to get things done. So we wind up with a trashed schoolroom most of the time. We wind up with books strewn about. Fortunately, she's not super big on ripping pages out of books, but she is really big on making sure there's as much mess as possible everywhere. And it doesn't matter if she's given everything. She still wants whatever is physically in everybody else's hands. So we're still trying to figure that out. It's tricky. We have more workload to get through, more table work to get through than length of time that Lauren naps. So it's been an adjustment for sure. And we're in the process of putting together like a little play area in the basement for her with like our swing, and I want to pull her slide downstairs so like she has like a little playground area, because schooling in our school room has been really, really helpful for us, and it's been very focusing for us, so that's been really great. Also, I remember talking last time on my update about the rigid schedule and trying to balance the girls back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I came up with like a little outline of like down to the minute where we needed to be. We scrapped that. It is not working for us at all. And we really are just let's look at our day's workload and let's just take each lesson as we feel like it. So sometimes we start with math, sometimes we start with history, sometimes, I mean, like we always start with more memory work and read alouds. But after that, like if we want to do all of our language arts first, great. If we want to do science and history first, great. So long as every single thing that we have to get done that day gets done, I am no longer worrying about the sequence. And by letting go and setting the foundations, the Logic of English foundations aside for now, I think that has been a huge stress relief for us. There's that. Anyway, I have rambled on now for about 20 minutes. And my makeup's all done. The baby's awake, so I'm gonna go. I'll be sure to link in my description box the curriculum that I can find online. Thank you for watching. I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.